This is Mike Lingle from Rocket Pro Forma, and today we're going to answer the question, what's my startup worth? I answer this question a lot with early stage founders. I make spreadsheet templates for financial projections. We don't need a spreadsheet. In fact, the spreadsheet can be a little confusing at the early stage when you're thinking about startup valuation because all the numbers in an early stage financial projection are made up. So instead of the spreadsheet, we're going to do a 30-second valuation using what we already know. First, how much cash we're raising, which you can figure out using the spreadsheet, right? That is why we have a financial projection. And then two, how much ownership in the company that should represent. And either we or our investors are going to have a strong feeling about that. So again, how much cash we're raising, ownership percentage that should represent. If you don't know, let's just assume 20%. All right, so what it's worth, what our startup is worth, is the same as the pre-money valuation. That's a startup fundraising term. Pre-money valuation just means what our company is worth now. So the formula we're going to use, cash raised, remember we know that, divided by ownership percentage minus the cash raised is going to give us the pre-money valuation. Cash raised divided by ownership percentage minus the cash raised is the pre-money valuation, which is what is our startup worth right now. Here's an example using real numbers. What's our startup worth? We're raising $1 million and our investors want 20%. So what it's worth is $1 million divided by 20%, which if you're using a calculator, it's $1 million divided by 0.2. 0.2 is 20%. That gives us $5 million, which is the post-money valuation. And we'll talk about that in a second if you want. But then we have to subtract out the $1 million to get the pre-money valuation. So the startup has to be worth $4 million right now in order for us to take in $1 million and have that be worth 20% of the company. That's it. So we used the two things we know, cash we're raising and the ownership percentage, to determine what the startup is worth now within 30 seconds. And this is much easier to negotiate with potential investors. This is actually a method that we used when we were raising money, our Series A, for our startup. I have a different video that talks about that. But this is it. All right, it is that simple. Here's the formula. What it's worth is the cash raised divided by the percent ownership minus the cash raised. That's it. So again, that's the 30-second valuation. This has been What's My Startup Worth with Rocket Pro Forma.